I want to thank you guys for coming to my YouTube channel, Logistic RS. I wanted to teach you guys a way how you can actually quit your day job. A little bit about myself. I've been in the sports industry for over 2 decades. And I'm going to be honest with you. With this coronavirus, it opened my eye up to a lot of things. And when I say open it opened it up to the essential portion of what it's going to take for me to maintain my lifestyle. And knowing a lot of truck drivers and kind of been around it and kind of dipping and dabbing with the trucking industry, and me realizing how of an essential that these guys are to the economy, it was a no-brainer to leave the sports industry. Because as you guys could see with sports right now, with this coronavirus, how it just kind of put everything at a standstill. So if you wasn't one of those premier athletes that was making millions and millions of dollars, those 5 to 6 months that everyone was kind of like chilling, people losing their jobs, if you didn't have millions of dollars sitting in the bank, what was you going to do for those 4 to 5 months? You know, the government wasn't really trying to give nobody no checks. What's that? Stimulus checks, $1,200. That you can't survive off of that. And then they're talking about maybe coming out with another stimulus check. Well, I decided that I wanted to do something that was going to be essential enough to where we always going to need it. We're always going to need truck drivers, because without truck drivers, this world, this economy would actually come to a standstill. But when everyone else was at a standstill as far as with work, restaurants, the hotel industry, everyone was at a standstill. Truck drivers was still going out doing their thing, as well as healthcare workers. And I take my hat off to a lot of the healthcare workers and the truck drivers, because without them, we really would have been messed up as an economy. Things are slowly getting better. We still have a lot of coronavirus death. You still have to do what it is. You still have to do whatever it takes for you to keep yourself healthy, you know, with your immune systems and things like that. But what I want to talk to you guys about is put yourself in a position to where if we have something like this ever again, it's not going to affect you. And I realize that this trucking industry is the place that I want to be, because I see there is a need for it. And it doesn't matter what the economy or what type of recession that we're dealing with at that moment. In the trucking industry, you're going to be good. I promise you that. So a couple of things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. First and foremost, how I was able to leave my job and do what I love to do. And that's now helping families. And when I say helping families, I mean helping these truck drivers. My job is to go out there and get these guys the top dollars that they deserve. And that's my promise to these truck drivers. And if it's something that I can't do, then I'm going to tell them I can't do it. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm not going to lie to them. I'm going to tell them this is what I'm going to do for you. And it's up to them to let me know if it's something that they like or they accept or whatever the case may be. But when you are real transparent with truck drivers, they respect that. They respect that. And one thing, and if anybody that knows me, one thing, I'm never going to tell you something that I can't do. I'm never going to lie. I'd rather me be honest and upfront with you, and you knowing the truth, you have your own opportunity to make a decision from there. So I'm not going to sugarcoat anything that sounds good. I'm going to tell you how it is, and I'm going to be transparent, just like in this video. So again, getting started. First, you have to come up with a concept, a dream, a vision of what it is that you really want to do in life. And if you want to be a dispatcher or a broker for truck drivers, then you need to come up with a business plan. You have to create, and there's a couple of ways of doing it. You can actually go out and get an LLC. That's what I did. Or you could be a sole proprietor. And I've had many businesses in the past. And I used to do, the sole proprietor, which is a lot cheaper. You take on a lot more responsibilities when you do that. So I would recommend get your LLC. Some places charge money for them to do it for you. I think like LegalZoom.com, they'll do the whole process for you. And I think it's like maybe $800 or something like that. Some places you can just do it yourself. I know prices are from $500 to $300. I paid $300 for mine. You can just Google that information and just let them know, hey, I want to do an LLC, and they'll tell you the proper steps of doing it. You can just Google Secretary of State and type in the information, or you can just type in, how do I get my LLC? And those steps will be there for you on Google. And it took probably about maybe I think a week or so. I actually got my my certification. So now my business is legit. And the other step, which is a sole proprietor, you just basically using your name. Again, you take on more responsibilities, but at the same time, and if you don't have a lot of money, because keep in mind, it doesn't take a lot of money to get started in this trucking business. What it takes is hard work, dedication, and focus. If you have those things in mind, you will be successful. And you can also do the sole proprietor. And when you start making a little bit of money, go out and get your LLC. That way you look more like a legitimate business, and you don't take on so much responsibilities, because it's not the fact that if something happens when you're in business, it's when it happens. So when it does happen, you want to make sure that you're already prepared. So if you have your license or your sole proprietorship, the next thing is now you have to promote yourself. You have to let people know what it is that you do. Like myself, I'm a dispatcher. I dispatch for owner-operators. Now, right now, I do have a few trucks in my pipeline. But at the same time, starting out, you want to be transparent. You want to be able to contact as many owner-operators as you can. And you let them know what it is that you can do for them, and let them know what you can't do for them. If you are transparent in the beginning, you will gain a lot of respect from a lot of owner-operators, okay? So keep that in mind. Be transparent. Don't sugarcoat anything. Just lay it out on the line, what it is that you can do for them, and let them make that decision if they want to do business with you or not, okay? Now, once you create your business plan and you have your LLC or your sole proprietor, and now that you have marketed yourself, the next step for beginners, you want to get on a load board. So you definitely want to sign up with a load board so you can be able to get loads for these truckers. Because once these truckers signed on with you, the next step is, hey, what is it that you're going to do for me that's going to keep me busy, that's going to be able to put money in my pocket so I can take care of my family? Well, as a dispatcher, it's your job to find them loads. So there are several load boards that you could sign up with. I'm not here to market any of them, but again, you can Google and try to figure out which is the best load for you. I've probably got 30 to 40 friends who use different load boards. So my suggestion to you is try one or two of them, whichever one you seems to get the most business from. Maybe that's the one that you may want to stick with. But as a dispatcher, it's best to have several that you can use, because if one just happens not to seem to be moving quick enough for you that day, hey, jump on the other load board. The main goal is to find as many loads as possible for your drivers. It's great if you have enough drivers and you keeping them busy. There's nothing worse than having owner operators sitting and waiting for you to get them loads. It's your job to keep them rolling. While they are rolling, it's your job to find them more gigs. So if you have, for instance, if you have a gig that's going from here, from Houston to Louisiana, or you got a load that's going from Houston to Dallas or Oklahoma, by the time that driver gets to Oklahoma, you want to be able to have something for him that's leaving from Oklahoma. Maybe if he wants to come back home, that's great. If he doesn't want to come back home, and let's just say he wanted to go to Arizona, you could make it like I call it like a try. Basically, it's a triangle. You're going to have him leave, for instance, from here to Oklahoma, and then from Oklahoma back to Arizona, and from Arizona back to Houston. It's a triangle. It's your job to keep him busy, because once he gets to that final destination, if he was leaving from Houston to Oklahoma, it'll be a great conversation he would love to have if you said, hey, I have something for you. Either you can come back from Oklahoma to Houston and make X amount of dollars if you're not in no rush, because you have some truck drivers who are married and has a family, so they're not trying to be out too long. But if you got a guy that's hungry and he's on his grind and he wants to make that money, then hey, this is what I have to offer for you. If you go to Arizona and then from Arizona back to Houston, it might be another day or two. It's okay, because a lot of truck drivers, that's what they do. A lot of them, either they're going to stay in the hotels or they have campers in the back of their truck where they can sleep. So many opportunities, man. So once you build that relationship and once you start finding these guys loads, you start building your business. You want to build your business to where, like any other business, and I always say this, I want to run my business until it becomes self-propelled. Because as a business owner, and when you're starting out, there's going to be many nights that you're not going to get any sleep. It's okay. Because this is what I always say. I would rather deal with excuse my French, but I would rather deal with the bullshit of owning my own company than rather deal with the bullshit of working for someone else. Because I hear it all the time. People say, man, owning your own business, you got to do this, you got to do that. Well, let me tell you something. When you're working for someone else, you got to do the exact same thing. So why not, if you're going to have a headache, why not have a headache from something that you put together, or something that you may have not created, but at the same time, you was the reason why you got this headache, because maybe you were stressed out about maybe a driver didn't do something, or the driver got there late, or an accident happened, or whatever. That's your responsibility, that as a owner, that you can probably fix. And when you're working for someone else, there's a lot of things that goes on that you may not have no control over, but you still can't control the situation because you ain't the owner. But a lot of times as an employee, you're still put with a lot of responsibilities and not even getting paid for what it is that you're doing. I would rather get paid for my own nonsense, real talk. And, it's also a good feeling when you are an owner, because you get to set your own hours. When you go to work, you got to get up at a certain time. Every day you always sitting in traffic, probably at the same time. So if it's a traditional 9 to 5, every day at 8:30, 8:15, you sitting in the same traffic at the same day. You're probably looking at the same cars on the road that you see every day. You can avoid those things when you work for yourself, because in this business, you can work from home. All you need is a cell phone, laptop, iPad, which is something that I use because I carry it everywhere I go. And that's pretty much it. As long as you have those technologies with you, you're good to go. And because of technology right now, before people would fax over information, but you have eFax now. You can actually have that app that's on your phone or on your iPad. You can take a picture of it, and that will be the equivalent of a fax, is the eFax. So a lot of times what you have to maybe fax over to a shipper is the BOL. And the BOL is basically the bill of lading. It's basically a contract between what that shipper and what that carrier is transporting. On the BOL is basically going to give a detail of everything that's on that cargo. And it goes as far as the weight, the length, the height, and if it's some certain type of chemical, maybe like a hazmat, all that information would be on that BOL. And with that BOL, that's something that the carrier will have with them, and they get it signed off once they drop off that load and on to the next one. So again, I will have more information on how to become successful in this dispatching business. You're more than welcome to email me. And my business is Logistic R Us. And my my email is actually logisticrus@gmail. And also on my social media, you can reach me again on Instagram at logisticrus. And it's Rico Davis. So if you have any questions, again, leave your day job. But before you leave your day job, secure some truckers and secure some work for them, because it's an easy business. And I say it like this: what you put into it is what you get out of it. Be real with yourself, be real with these truck drivers, and be real with these brokers. You do those things and you can be successful. You can make six figures from home. You can. It's just what you put into it is what you get out of it. If you got any questions, please email me, and I'll give you some of the why factors next. Why I'm getting into this business, why you want to make X amount of dollars, and set a goal. Tell yourself how much money I want to make per week. Once you set yourself a goal of what you want to make, anything less than what your goal is, then you're not being successful. Anything above what you're saying that you want to make, then you're on the right path. You're on the right path to success. And the only person that's stopping you from being successful, look in the mirror. That's your answer. Real talk.